In less than 2 hours from now, polls will open in Wyoming, one of the two states holding primary elections today. Voters there will decide whether Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney, who has been an outspoken critic of former President Donald Trump, will be the party's nominee and continue on to the midterm election. Cheney is in serious risk of losing her seat. She is currently polling well behind her Trump-backed challenger, Harriet Hageman. Here for more analysis is our chief election and campaign correspondent, Robert Costa. He is in Jackson, Wyoming, following this race. It's good to see you. I'm sure you're out there. Have you spoken to voters? What's the latest you're hearing?
Good morning. I am here in Jackson, Wyoming, a sleepy town, beautiful place, but it's also a politically hot spot this morning as Congresswoman Liz Cheney faces a political reckoning. She is someone who's vice chair of the House Select Committee investigating the Capitol attack, which has put her at odds with former President Trump and his allies and his voters here in Wyoming. But she has been unflinching in her position that he is a threat to democracy. Her strategy today is to try to convince Democrats to switch parties, which you can do on Election Day in Wyoming, and give her a shot against her challenger, Harriet Hageman. But it's going to be an uphill climb in this deep red state.
Bob, Cheney is set to give a speech tonight. What can we expect to hear from her?
We're told that Congresswoman Cheney is likely to give a speech tonight here in the Jackson area about how she firmly believes former President Trump is a threat to American democracy. And it will be perhaps the beginning of the next phase of her political career. Should she lose tonight, unlike so many people who lose House races, she is someone who has an eye, we're told, on a possible 2024 presidential bid. She has not made any decision at this point, of course. She's focused on her primary race. But because of her role on the January 6th committee, because of her political pedigree, a member of the Cheney family, which has represented Wyoming in the House for decades, going back to 1979 when her father came to Washington as a House member. Then he became vice president during George W. Bush's administration. She is someone who has a national profile, national fundraising base, raised over $13 million for this campaign. So she is positioned as one of several possible contenders to be part of that anti-Trump wing of the Republican Party. But again, just like here in Wyoming, that race could also be tough in a Republican Party that's still very much dominated by Trump. You think about if Cheney loses tonight, she would be the 8th of 10 House Republicans who supported Trump's impeachment last year to be exiting Congress, underscoring Trump's support in the GOP.
It's an interesting point. Bob, as we know, the House Republican Conference usually supports incumbents. However, Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is endorsing Hageman and criticizing Cheney for her critiques of Trump. Here he is on Fox News yesterday. Let's listen.
I think her whole focus has been different. Her whole focus has been against one individual, whether she has information or not, instead of focusing on her district itself.
Bob, what does this signal about not just the future of the Republican Party, but also where current GOP lawmakers stand?
What's so interesting about that clip you just showed is where it was filmed. It was filmed here in Jackson, Wyoming. The House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is also in Wyoming on the day of Cheney's primary. He's holding a retreat with top Republican donors just down the street, a few miles from where Cheney will hold her election event on Tuesday evening. That shows you the different wings of the Republican Party have all convened here in Jackson, Wyoming. The House Republican Party is a prism into the Republican Party today. So many in the McCarthy ranks, they want to still be with the former president, embrace his message, sometimes echoing his false claims about the 2020 election being rigged. Harriet Hageman, Cheney's challenger, has done just that. But there's also a wing that you could call the Cheney wing that's very much against Trump, and there's a group that's in the middle. Mitch McConnell, the Senate Minority Leader, has been muted on the former president, not a supporter in any particular way. And so the Republican Party, we're still watching them navigate who they are and where they're going.
And Bob, we mentioned earlier there is a primary in Alaska today. Could Sarah Palin possibly be headed to Congress? What's the latest on Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski's attempt to fend off a primary challenge?
Well, on the Palin front, it's quite possible that the former Alaska governor, the 2008 Republican vice presidential nominee, could be heading to Capitol Hill. Palin has not run for office since 2008, when she was on the GOP ticket nationally with the late Senator John McCain. She has been active in national politics. She's become an ally of the Tea Party. She then became an ally of the former president, Donald Trump. But this is her first run in a long time, a political comeback for her should she win the primary, the race today, the special election to fill the seat. This is a special election in Alaska to fill the seat of the late Congressman Don Young. And if she wins, she would fill the term for a little bit and then run in another election to serve a complete, full new term. And Senator Lisa Murkowski has long been a moderate in Alaska, a moderate Republican, someone who's more of the Joe Manchin mold in terms of how she's seen within her party, a bit of an outsider from the typical leadership side of things. But she is someone who has built her own political base in Alaska. She's running against a Trump-endorsed challenger there. Murkowski, over the past decade or two, has fended off these types of challengers before, but not always easy for her. It could be a tight race in this kind of political environment. So we'll be keeping a close eye on Alaska, but we won't know everything about Alaska tonight. It takes quite a bit in such a big state to count the vote.
All right, Robert, it is early there in Wyoming. Thanks for joining us. I know we'll be talking to you throughout the day. Thanks so much.